What would you say, like, your demographic is?
Men.
No, like age.
Oh, I have no idea.
Over the last few days, Sophie Rain has been on yet another wild internet streak, and honestly, it's starting to look rough for the long-term health of her career. The backlash keeps stacking up, and it's not just random critics on Twitter anymore. It's the non-stop drama she keeps bringing up herself that's got people irritated. What's really telling is that even her own supporters are starting to lose patience now. Sophie keeps positioning herself as the victim in nearly every situation, pushing the idea that her job in adult online content is misunderstood and way harder than people think.
Let's talk about the not so great parts of my job being a bot. I know that a lot of what I share online is glamorized, and I can't lie, making millions of dollars a month is an incredible opportunity that I am extremely grateful for. But I do think it's just as important to talk about the downsides and the real effects that this industry has on a person. First, I want to be very clear about something. There are very few creators on here that have actually made this kind of money. I got extremely lucky. I still don't fully understand how I got into this position, but I'm extremely grateful for it. That being said, this career is not a guaranteed path to success. Unless you already have a massive following, it is incredibly difficult to make life-changing money from doing this. Over the last 2 years, I have reached my financial goals, but it came with costs that I never fully anticipated. I have been stalked multiple times. I have filled multiple police reports. I've filed restraining orders, and my anxiety is at an all-time high. The private life that I thought I could keep outside of social media is getting harder and harder to protect every single day. I've also had a break-in that forced me to increase my personal security, and the reality is, images of my body are gonna be online forever. Something I can never undo or take away, no matter how my life changes in the future. People will constantly judge and pick apart every decision you make. And sometimes the hardest part is staying silent, because you realize that no matter what you say, some people will just never respect your thoughts or opinions because of what you do for a living.
That argument might land with some, but to others, it just sounds out of touch and forced, like she's refusing to see why people are reacting the way they are. To be fair, no one deserves to be stalked or harassed, and that part is genuinely messed up. Feeling sympathy for her there is totally reasonable, but at the same time, it's hard to ignore that entering the OnlyFans world comes with risks that are widely known, and this kind of attention is unfortunately part of what many sign up for when they jump into that space.
I want to be clear, I do have a great life. I'm not complaining or comparing myself to others. This job has opened so many doors and provided so many opportunities that I am incredibly thankful for. But gratitude just doesn't cancel out reality. That's why I feel a responsibility to be honest with you guys. This industry comes with real risks, emotionally, mentally, and physically. It's not something you guys can just jump into without serious thought, without serious research, and understanding of what the long-term consequences are. My intention has never been to influence young girls down this path. If anything, I want people to do their own research. I want you to ask hard questions, and I want you to think about what kind of life you guys want 10 to 20 years from now. Don't just think about the money. I don't usually open up like this, but I hope sharing this gives you a more realistic perspective on this industry.
Now, it's really strange how throughout this entire video, she's constantly complaining about things that she herself signed up for.
Let's be real though, this industry is often a fast-track lane. A lot of creators take a massive shortcut by dropping a few TikToks and photos daily, then pulling in more cash in one day than most people see in a year. That said, this isn't about saying Sophie did nothing to earn her spot. Clearly, effort went into building her platform, but pretending the grind is the same as everyone else's just doesn't sit right. That excuse doesn't really hold up, because at a certain point in her rise, Sophie made a clear choice to fully dive into OnlyFans, and that part isn't debatable. It's just what happened. Once you hit that level and take that route, it comes with consequences whether you like it or not.
Bro, so you mean to tell me that Sophie Rain's real name is Isabel Blair and she's not actually 23, she's 21? Am I the only one that's just now finding this out? Like, am I today years old finding out that Sophie Rain's real name isn't Sophie Rain? So she was on the Full Send podcast and basically revealed that she's been lying about her age and real name because she didn't want to get doxxed by any stalkers, but Florida state records basically make everything public, so all these people ended up finding out her real name and age. And like, it gets weirder. Basically, these people are like hitting up her neighbors, harassing her family members, harassing her, and this is all happening daily. I can 100% see why this girl was lying about her age and real name. People are so weird in this world. I think the creepiest part about this is even if she was to sell her current house and buy a new one in the state of Florida, they could just find out where she's living again and keep doing this to her. The saddest part about this podcast is if you watch this clip, like, she's literally sounding like she's squealing and about to cry, because it's like, devastating to her that people are doing this. Bro, at what point do we separate fan and like criminal? Like this is like obsession. Like the things that they're doing to her, this shouldn't even be legal.
What's wild is how, throughout this whole situation, she keeps complaining about things that were part of the deal from day one. Sure, she has a fan base of girls who enjoy her dance clips and lifestyle content, but she also has a massive audience of men dropping insane amounts of money on her without ever meeting her in real life. That dynamic alone should have raised red flags way earlier. To a lot of people watching from the outside, that kind of spending behavior looks extreme and unsettling.
So I've been noticing a lot of pocket watching in my comments lately, and I'm just here to set the record straight on how much I made these past 2 years. I had a slow month. I was taking a break for the holidays, but you can see I'm gonna refresh. It is very real. And then I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna hit this. And this is showing my all-time gross of $99 million. I'm very proud of this. I only have you guys to thank, but I have no reason to lie. But thank you so much for your concern.
If someone is willing to throw that much cash at an online personality, it's fair to question how far some of them might go if they ever tried to cross that online to real-life line. So when news came out about her dealing with a real-life intruder situation, people weren't exactly shocked, even though it's still a terrifying thing no one should go through. And yes, that kind of experience deserves sympathy, no question about it. But knowing how intense and obsessive parts of her paying audience can be, she still keeps accepting the money without hesitation, which makes it look like the cash matters more than anything else. On top of that, people have noticed her being vague about her age, presenting herself as younger than she actually is, and framing it as privacy, even though critics believe it's really about boosting her appeal and profits. She honestly did a decent job laying out her side of the story, but a lot of what she said still doesn't fully add up when you really listen to it. When someone creates a totally separate alias like that, switching from a real name to Sophie Rain, it's usually because they're planning to step into adult content and want a clean wall between their personal life and what they're doing online. You don't really see regular TikTok creators doing that kind of name switch because they're not trying to hide the platform they're on. But in the adult content space, using an alias is super common, especially when someone wants privacy or doesn't want their real-life circle knowing what they're involved in. That's why it feels like this wasn't some random decision. It looks more like a long-term plan from the very beginning. What makes it even messier is how she used to talk a lot about being a Christian, while at the same time building a career that clearly clashes with those values. That contradiction alone makes people question how honest she's being now. It really feels like the OF move was always in the cards, and the alias was just part of setting the stage early. Realistically, by the time her parents found out, she was probably already pulling in serious money, hundreds of thousands a month, if not more. At that point, what can they really do? Sure, they might be disappointed or uncomfortable with the path she chose. But when someone is already financially independent and set for life, the situation changes fast. Money doesn't erase concerns, but it definitely dulls the reaction. When you're pulling numbers like millions every single month, it's honestly mind-blowing, and at that level, it becomes almost impossible for anyone around you to tell you to stop. The money is just too big, the lifestyle is locked in, and that kind of success makes people double down instead of stepping back. That said, I still don't have respect for Sophie Rain as a creator. I do genuinely feel bad that she's had to deal with stalking, swatting, and all that chaos, because no one deserves to go through something that scary. But at the same time, those risks don't come out of nowhere. They're tied directly to the type of audience and attention her work attracts. She's taking in massive amounts of money from extremely obsessive supporters, hundreds of thousands, even millions, and barely giving anything back in return beyond surface-level interaction. A quick thank you message here and there doesn't change the fact that some of these people may build unhealthy emotional attachments. When that line gets blurred, it can push certain individuals into doing reckless and dangerous things. That's why, in my opinion, this whole situation didn't just happen to her. It's something she played a role in creating. The setup, the audience, the incentives, all of it mixed together into a recipe that was bound to explode sooner or later. But I want to know what you think about all this. Drop your thoughts in the comments below and let me know your take. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like and subscribe for more videos like this. It seriously helps the channel more than you might realize. I truly appreciate everyone who takes the time to watch and support.